Welcome to the Business Spotlight podcast. My name is Kay Cote, and I'm your host of the show today. Today, I have Todd Roundtree, CEO of Austin American Technology, as my guest. We're going to learn about his journey to business ownership, learn about his business, and the best practices that he's learned along the way to give you that inside look to what it's like to run and operate a business. If this is your first time on our channel, be sure to like and subscribe to get notified when we drop episodes like this. Welcome, Todd. It's so great to meet you. Thank you for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course. Well, before we dive into all things business, I'd love to learn a little bit about you. So feel free to share a bit about yourself.
I don't know, interesting fact, I was actually born in Ankara, Turkey. I was a military brat, born on a U.S. military base, but anyhow, spent a very, very short time there, and then kind of all throughout the rest of the United States throughout my youth before finally settling in Florida for quite some time. And then, of course, now out here in Texas, actually my second tour of Texas. Spent some time as a youth out here as well. But anyhow, no, it's I am just kind of background. I have my degree is in business administration. I've spent most of my career in sales. That's kind of how I started over here at Austin American Technology. Came in as their global sales manager, but kind of progressed, invested, and this is kind of got me to where I am today.
Well, that's incredible. Well, exciting to hear that you're able to, go full force now into business. And so I'd like to dive in a little deeper. Share a little bit about why you went the entrepreneurship route.
I'd have to say for me that was really more opportunity that kind of begat that rather than choice. So like I said, I came to Austin American Technology as the global sales manager, and the owner and founder from back in 1986. He was moving on, wanted to kind of get towards retirement. Him and I clicked very well. I ended up being named president. Within about the first 3 months of employment here. We are a very small company, but anyhow, kind of made that graduation fairly quickly. Worked side by side with the founder for the next year before he kind of really did begin to transition towards his retirement. And I've kind of, been able to run it, since then, but then was also afforded the opportunity to invest, actually buy out some of the other shareholders. So I did that. And now I'm, really between the original founder and myself, we're the two largest shareholders in the company.
Oh, wow, that's incredible. Well, what a cool journey, especially when you end up taking a job that ends up, becoming your business. So I really think that's admirable. It's kind of a golden nugget of this conversation too
Uh,
for other entrepreneurs out there who may be employed right now and with that kind of that next step as an opportunity for them. And so kind of tell me a little bit about the company and who do you serve?
Yeah, so that's one of the really interesting things. So Austin American Technology, like I said, was founded in 1986. We originally started in the electronics industry. So our founder, Steve Statch, is his name. Steve is a chemical engineer by schooling. His first job out of college was actually working for Texas Instruments up in Dallas, building bombs for the U.S. government. After doing that for a while, he kind of transitioned as a process engineer over to the actual pacemaker industry, where he was building pacemakers, and then on to some solar stuff. Anyhow, kind of throughout his career, he, always wanted to kind of do something. So he went and started Austin American Technology, and where he was building rework stations. So basically, when they do a repair on a circuit board, this was kind of a station that facilitated that repair. That's kind of started us. And then he made our first foray into cleaning, which is what we do now. We build cleaners that clean circuit boards. And these are all for high reliability applications, things like aerospace, so all the navigational systems in planes and operating systems, anything that goes to space, satellites, things like that. or all the electronics are cleaned before they go, as well as in the military industry. Several of our weapon systems and things like that are all controlled with electronics are cleaned, and medical are really kind of our major focuses of where we see most of our business.
Oh, that's incredible. Well, I'm excited to get into the technology and get into all the nuts and bolts of your business. And so you said you were a smaller team. So tell me about your team. How many team members are there and what are some of the roles?
Yeah, so when I kind of first got started here, we fluctuated a little bit, but basically we've kind of remained about a team of 10 people. And that has, kind of including me, gone all the way through. We do manufacture, build our equipment here. So most of my employees, well, I'd say probably the higher percentage, were on the floor actually building the equipment. We've had some inside sales, accounting, operations for doing all of our parts ordering, things like that. Like I said, over the years, we've kind of grown a little bit. We've added a couple different service people. And then our most recent was last year, we actually acquired one of our competitors. That was out in California. And actually, this month we have closed the facility out in California and moved them all out here. So now we're actually kind of a big happy family of 20 employees here in Burnet, Texas.
Oh, that's incredible. So you pretty much doubled your employees there then in a year. That's cool.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I'm just taking notes as we go. So if
Sure.
I notice me typing, that's why, because I want to make sure and get everything correct. As you're going in business now, what, how are you reaching your clients? Like, I love to get into the marketing. Are you having to really market, or what does that look like for you?
Yes, that's a really interesting question because I always kind of consider our industry or our business very unique. We have several about 34 independent sales reps throughout the United States, and then we have another 17 distributors throughout the rest of the world. All of those are obviously kind of operating independently from us, but so we rely on them a lot to kind of generate our leads. I am maybe when it comes to marketing a little, I don't know, a little bit of a maverick in our industry. Magazine advertising has kind of been the way that everybody has always done it. I kind of don't believe that magazine advertising is that great. We do it simply because we like to make sure that we're still in front of our customers if they do happen to pick up a magazine. But I really try to transition more towards online marketing, trying to reach our customers that way. One of the things that worked the most, I actually hired a sales manager that had a lot of marketing background about 4 years ago. He did leave us about a year ago, but in his 3-year tenure here, he did a wonderful job of kind of getting us set up, doing short marketing videos, usually 4 or 5 minutes, just kind of conversations, but a way to kind of touch on what was going on. We were able to get a lot of that out, as far as social media, and that actually did at least got us known. I can't really say that it generated sales. That's been the kind of very difficult metric that we have had such a hard time with in marketing in our industry. Is these are usually very long, drawn out sales processes, sometimes years to actually get something done. So it's very difficult to kind of track exactly what's working. But I think our biggest success, or at least measurement of success, as long as people are talking about us, and that means we must be somehow staying in front of them.
Definitely. Well, that leads me right into my next question, which is about your competition. Would you say there's other competitors out there currently, and what are some of the things that set you apart?
Yeah, so we do have a few other competitors here in the United States, and then a few more overseas. Most of the overseas companies that are here in the United States definitely are not as prevalent. It's a little more difficult to get spare parts, service, things like that. Uh, but the ones that are here in the United States, like I said, we do have a few. We've had some that have kind of sold out, and others that are much larger. But some of the things that kind of set us apart really is customer service. So before I came to American Technology. I was not in the technology realm, technology world. I actually came from the funeral industry. And yeah, I know, very strange. But the funeral industry is very, very much service based. So that's
Mhm.
kind of how the culture I brought over here to Austin American, to make sure that we are truly the customer service oriented business, in the sense that I try to stay involved in all of our sales activities, service activities, things like that. And we kind of have, maybe it's a running joke around here, but basically, if I don't see somebody that responds to an email within 30 minutes, then I respond. And that's so the joke is, you always want to make sure you get the response before Todd responds. So I,
I
it,
like that.
yeah, it kind of creates I always want to make sure that I don't leave a customer one looking for answers. A
Yeah.
lot of times we kind of know today, with all the information that's available online, it may not always be accurate. So, unfortunately, if you leave someone to their own devices to go out and try to find the answer, they may not get the answer that you'd actually want them to have. So very, very important to kind of keep that communication going. And I really think that's probably one of the things that sets us apart from all of our competitors, is that our customer service is really top notch.
Oh, you said another golden nugget of the conversation right there is that communication is so huge, especially with service. I think that's awesome that you touched on that and that you bring that to the table. And who knows, it sounds like coming from, of course, the funeral business is very, very much of feelings and emotions are going on within the client. So having that customer service skill set has carried over into what you're doing now.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, looking ahead at the future of the company, where do you see the company going in the next 3 to 5 years?
Well, with our recent acquisition last year, obviously it doubled our company size, it doubled our income as well. But that's just kind of the starting point, by us, kind of creating this larger company. And for one, we did eliminate a competitor in the process, but we actually made us stronger. We actually saw that the one and one was more than two. So our current goals right now is really to kind of continue our momentum in growth, and get that across to our customers. We truly build the best equipment that's out there. We provide the best customer service, and we're doing a great job of sharing that message. So what we see right now is we're looking to, in the next 3 years, close to, where our goal is to actually double our business that we're doing right now on an annual revenue. We see a clear path to it. There's definitely the opportunity there. So it's just kind of up to us to go grab it. And so we're trying to put the things in place, the systems in place, marketing in place, to be able to go out and capture that additional revenue that we're seeking.
No, definitely. Well, that sounds incredible. Well, looking now at this future goal, I love to show a transparency on this show and show where your challenges maybe are to help inspire other businesses to work through challenges as well. So what is something you're currently challenged with in the business and how are you working through it?
So really a couple different challenges I can share with you. One is, being a very small company, it's very difficult to stay on top of documentation. So that's something that we struggle with. We make an engineering change, and then it's up to a very small team to make sure that engineering change is documented. And as far as our manuals and our bombs, are basically everything throughout the process. So that portion is very, very difficult. We have added a few new employees over the past couple years. Actually brought some youth in, some recent college graduates that are maybe a little more tech savvy than some of us older guys. And that's kind of been their responsibility, is to help us out with that documentation portion. And then the other thing that we actually struggle with is, we're really great at taking orders, but sometimes, since we are a manufacturing facility, in order to get the orders built and out the door on time, has been another struggle. And it's a delicate balance between how many employees do you bring in versus what an employee can get done in a day, or whether that be with overtime, without overtime, that sort of thing. So really, production schedule has been another struggle for us. And that's really only recently with the acquisition, because The other company came in with a lot of backlog, so we've been trying to manage how we can get that backlog out, and then also, kind of, back on track, meeting delivery dates and things like that, which is one of the large reasons why we actually decided to close their facility in California and relocate them here. We thought that by being under one roof, it was going to be much easier to manage that entire process.
Oh, definitely. Now, are there things you're trying to implement currently to help mitigate some of that and help catch up with some of the backlog?
Yeah, so I mean that's a great question as well. The team that was out in California, everybody was is very specialized in what they do, yet they were also kind of required to do everything in the job. So it was, rather than being kind of like an assembly line, it was more of the entire team went from one project to another project to another project, kind of throughout the entire build. So therefore, when they moved to another, nothing was being done in another stage.
Mhm.
So by moving them out here, our goal is to kind of make it more of an assembly line. We've kind of taken everybody that's come out and sat them down, talked to them about what their best skill set is, and have placed them in that skill set. That's the only thing they're going to be doing. And then, of course, we've integrated our team into the other aspects of the way they build. And it's extremely fresh when I say that. If you want to ask me how it's worked out, we've been doing it for a week. So we're,
I love the honesty. Yes. Okay. And so would you say most of the employees from the old facility came over with the company, or did you do a lot of hiring here in the Texas area?
Yeah, we actually only lost two employees
Wow.
from coming over, and everybody, of course, like they say, wants to come to Texas. There's much more opportunity, uh, but yeah, the two employees that we lost were actually towards retirement anyhow, and just kind of decided to not make the move. Fortunately, one of them, we did have overlap here, so already at our facility, so definitely wasn't an issue. And then the other one, once again, since it has been so fresh, we're not exactly sure whether we need to replace or not. We're going to kind of see how this first build goes, and then decide whether we're going to be doing some hiring.
Wonderful. Well, it sounds like all in all, a pretty smooth transition as things are moving forward, which is awesome to hear.
On the surface.
On
Yeah,
the surface, well, I could deep dive for another hour and get
it
to the
does.
the meat of it, but yeah. So I guess yeah. What are some of the biggest pain points within that challenge of bringing the team over here? What's been the thing that's been kind of holding you back, or the hiccup, if there's been one?
Um, in all honesty, it was really logistics. We were extremely slammed before, trying to make the move. So we were, trying to ship equipment and pack up the entire shop to get it moved out here. And we ended up, unfortunately, we were able to schedule one semi truck. And then it was 5 weeks later before we could get another one to come out to pick up the rest of the equipment. So it kind of left the team in California somewhat handicapped in the sense that half of their stuff was already here. And so they were only working with half of it. And then they were, working up until the last day to try to get pieces of equipment out before the truck showed up the next day. So it was really timing and logistics was kind of our biggest hurdle in trying to get them here. And then, of course, the other hurdle we ran into here was that we moved kind of our team into another building here on our property and cleared out our main building for the guys from California coming. But all their equipment was here. So once they got here, we had to set up, we had to rerun power to all of their equipment, things like that. So once they got here, we had another week basically of just getting the shop set up before we could start production. So the biggest hiccup for us was really losing about 3 weeks of production in order to move it, to make the move. And then also, very, a whole lot of concern to make sure that the employees are settled. We did put them all up in, places to stay, while they're here looking for other opportunities or, other places to live. So it's been interesting. My first time ever doing that, and learned a lot.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that sounds like, because I'm just thinking about that. move. I moved once to Austin just from North Dakota, and that was just me and my partner, and that was enough of a hiccup. I couldn't imagine moving a whole facility. So that's a thank you for sharing about that. This has been such a fun conversation. I've learned so much, and I'm happy to share this episode. Before we wrap up, I want to go into a fun part of the Q&A. I
Mhm.
call our rapid fire questions, where I ask you four questions and you answer very top of mind.
Okay.
All right, rapid fire question number one is, what is the key to success for you?
Customer service, I would have to say.
Definitely. And number two is, what is a piece of advice you have for other business owners?
I think that one is very easy, and that is treat your team well. The only thing that keeps us in business is the team behind me that actually makes it all work. So, we want to make sure here, our culture, everybody's heard, everybody's informed, everybody's opinion is valuable, and we try to make sure that we let them know daily how much we appreciate them.
Love that. Number three is, it could be a book, a podcast, an article, just anything that's caught your eye recently.
In all honesty, I don't read a whole lot. But I did recently start Lead It Like Lasso is a book that I did was very interested in kind of getting involved in. I am a Ted Lasso fan.
Mm.
So I haven't gotten a whole lot of it read yet, but very interesting so far.
Oh, I'm gonna write that one down. Lead it like Lasso.
Yes.
Oh, cool. And then the fourth question is, if you could wave a magic wand and rapidly improve one aspect of your business, what would it be?
Oh, probably one aspect, actually marketing. I think that is my biggest struggle. Everything else seems to kind of have an answer and a logical progression on how we do things, but marketing is the quintessential. It just seems to be an unknown. We throw money out there at marketing, and it's very difficult to monitor. So if that was something that I could fix, and that would definitely be it.
Definitely. You're not alone in that. Marketing is such an interesting phenomenon to do. So, well, thank you for answering those rapid fires. Before we get to our final question, let's help you out with marketing right now. How can people connect with your business online?
So our website is aat-corp.com. And then, of course, we have we're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, or I'm on LinkedIn when AAT is on LinkedIn. But yeah, that is how you get a hold of us.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for this great conversation. Before we wrap up, final question is, what is most inspiring to you today?
Oh, I'd have to say, yeah, and I'll just keep it business related as well. But most inspiring is actually the founder of Austin American Technology. He's the one that kind of once again trusted in me to kind of lead the company forward, gave me the opportunity to be a shareholder, and actually buy in, as well as he's kind of taught me a lot about the compassion of running a business and the importance of running or basically monitoring financials, things like that. So, as well as actually taught me this business. Coming in as a complete outsider, he was a wealth of knowledge. As you can probably imagine, there's a lot of technical, chemical, and all sorts of other aspects of actually, running the business and doing the sales portion of it. So, yeah, that's definitely one of the biggest things that I've been appreciative of.
Well, that's incredible. Again, this has been such a fun conversation. Thank you so much, Todd, for your time today and for sharing your journey with me.
Yes, thank you so much too, Kay. Appreciate it.